Yo, what's up everybody? It's me, W Michael, and in today's YouTube video, we're going to be talking about the brand new 7-star Tera Raid battle event happening in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video games. Now, they have been releasing starter Pokemon like absolutely crazy recently, from Cinderace to Greninja to Inteleon. It's just, they've been dropping them like crazy. So this week is yet again another new starter Pokemon, and this one is going to feature, unfortunately, not a lot of people's favorites, but this one is going to be Chesnaught. Now, Chesnaught is going to be a grass fighting Pokemon with a Rock Tera typing, and it is going to be a very bulky Pokemon with some decent attacking moves. Now, this one definitely has a couple of things that we want to discuss so we can make sure we build the correct Pokemon to bring into this battle, because there are definitely ways where this Pokemon may end up just being a big wall and just a big problem. So you want to make sure you bring the right Pokemon. So let's hop into this video, let's check out some raid guides, and get you Chesnaught on the opening weekend, yo. Yo, as always, we want to talk about the Pokemon we're going to be fighting, just so that we know what we're going to be going up against, or possibly what we're going to be going up against, so we can try to build the best possible Pokemon beforehand. Now, with all of these raids, just know that there have been some kind of things that the Pokemon company has been throwing at us, and that is moves that the Pokemon don't normally know. So there are a little bit of a question mark, or kind of a, like, we just don't know if this is going to happen with these raids. Like the last one, we had like play rough on Typhlosion. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have happened that we're just not really prepared for, because these Pokemon don't normally know them. So just know that after this raid comes out, I will release another video with Pokemon that will correctly beat the raid, or will be specifically tailored to the raid after we know exactly what this Chesnaught is going to have. Now, since we don't know what it is going to have, we can talk about what we think it's going to have. Now, all of these Pokemon have had their hidden abilities, so a Chesnaught is going to be bulletproof, so you aren't going to be able to use any of the bullet type attacks. That's like Energy Ball, Seed Bomb, things like that are not going to be used. So make sure you don't bring them, because you can't. But we'll talk about it later on. There's actually a way that you can bring them, but you just have to make sure that you can remove Chesnaught's ability. Now, specifically with Chesnaught, some of the moves that we're possibly going to end up seeing, it is a fighting type Pokemon, so expect a fighting type move on this build. There's also the fact that it is a grass type Pokemon, so expect a grass type move. Wood Hammer, Close Combat, fantastic moves for this Pokemon, will do a lot of damage, like we've seen from some of the other previous Pokemon. Stone Edge, because this is a Rock Tera type Chesnaught, is going to have a form of a rock move. Stone Edge is a big damaging move with a really solid crit chance, so make sure you watch out for that one. And just to kind of round out some of the weaknesses, Steel type Pokemon will be really good into Chesnaught, so the fact that it does get Earthquake is definitely something that we want to keep in mind, as there's generally ways that it's going to cover some of its weakness, and that is going to be one of them. Now, some other moves that it can possibly get, Crunch is another big one. You've also got Swords Dance and Iron Defense. So that means that we have a chance to boost the attack as well as the defense, so that is a big one. They've definitely been using them in the previous builds. Now, this event is going to be happening from May 12th to the 14th. It is shiny locked, so you cannot get a shiny one unless you want to breed it. That is the only way you're going to get this one shiny in the game. And so yeah, let's go ahead and start off with some of the raid builds that I built for this particular raid. And let's start off the first one that I kicked off, which was Koraidon. All right, and here you are with our first raid build for Chesnaught. Now, Koraidon is our box legendary, and seeing as the Chesnaught is a rock typing, fighting type Pokemon are going to have a nice advantage into this one. So Koraidon, being our box legendary, has some amazing stats to go along with it. So it is going to be utilizing a stab type fighting move with Collision Course, which is going to do a ton of damage and should do pretty well in this raid. Now, a couple of things that we want to keep in mind with this Pokemon is that we do have the ability to use Screech, so we can drop the defense of the Chesnaught. We do have Swords Dance, so we can boost our own offensive capabilities. And we also have Bulk Up that we can utilize if we really, you know, maybe we just need one quick little boost to both of our defense and our attack. It gives us a little bit of, gives us some options as far as that go. Now, there are definitely other Pokemon or other builds that you can use with Koraidon. I really think that just this one, because these Tera Raid battles are not terribly long, I think you can get away with just using Collision Course and boosting yourself, especially if you have some awesome supporting Pokemon to go along with you. So let's hop into the next Pokemon, which I think is going to be one of the better kind of grass type Pokemon for this raid, and one that stood out really early on with me and my buddies when we were discussing builds. That's going to be Appletun. I'm really excited about this one. Let's hop into Appletun. All right, and here we are with the Apple Dragon Pokemon, Appletun. Now, Appletun is a really solid Pokemon, really bulky, and has some pretty cool moves that we can definitely utilize in this raid battle. Now, Rock-type Pokemon are weak to Grass-type moves, And Appletun gets a pretty awesome grass type move in Apple Acid. Now, Apple Acid will actually drop the special defense of the Pokemon you are attacking. So it's a stab type move with Appletun that drops the special defense down. It's a fantastic move, and that's always kind of things that you're looking for whenever you're building or doing these kind of raid builds, especially with support Pokemon. It's a stab type move that does something that you need to the raid boss, either by dropping a defense down or by boosting yourself. So it's definitely a really, really awesome move. And the fact that Appletun already has some really great stats behind it to where it's gonna be bulky and actually be able to live, great Pokemon. I think it's gonna be really awesome. Now, another thing that this Pokemon does end up having is the ability Ripen. So that means that you will be able to get a double effect off of the berries that you eat. So your Sitrus berry is going to be healing you for a ton of HP. Now, you also have the move called Recycle, which means that you can actually get that berry back after you have used it. So you can continuously keeping up your HP recovery. Apple Acid, Grassy Terrain, going to be making sure that you do a good chunk of damage as a supporting Pokemon. And you also get access to Reflect, which is definitely going to help you mitigate a ton of the damage from the Chesnaught. Some other things that you can utilize are Helping Hand and Iron Defense. So yeah, definitely, I think a really awesome Pokemon. I think this is going to be a solid top tier one. I'm definitely going to be bringing this one while I'm streaming tonight on Twitch. So you definitely catch me running the Appletun in these raid builds. But let's go ahead and hop into the next raid build, and that's going to be Annihilape. All right, and here we have another raid build for the Chesnaught Raid. Now, Annihilape has been a big favorite solo build for these raids and for a lot of raids, just due to the fact that it is able to keep the stacks from Rage Fist even after it dies. So you're able to just stay there and just constantly build up a massive amount of damage and just overall overwhelm the raid boss. So Annihilape is a fantastic Pokemon, and if you're looking for a solo raid build, this is the one that I would definitely use for this one, just due to the fact that Annihilape, this is actually one of the ones where Annihilape has some super effective moves into the raid boss, so it's going to be just even more helpful. So Annihilape is going to be our Rage Monkey Pokemon. We're going to be using that Shell Bell so we can get some HP recovery. We've got Bulk Up to get our defense and our attack up. We've got Rage Fist to get those stacks. So every time you get hit, you go up by 50 damage on your Rage Fist. So it starts off at 50. Every time it goes up by 50, and it does not go away when you get knocked out. So when you come back, you still have all those same stacks. So it's a massive move in these raids. You do also have Drain Punch, which is going to be super effective, meaning that you are going to get a ton of HP back. It's going to be really useful. Screech to drop the defense down so you're doing as much damage as possible. I really think Annihilape is going to shine in this one, and so I would definitely highly suggest bringing Annihilape if you're struggling, or if you just need to bring a Pokemon that you know is going to be just an absolute champion in these raids. So fantastic Pokemon, but let's hop into the next one, which is going to be Corviknight. And for another one of our Pokemon, we have Corviknight. Now, Corviknight does have a little bit of a slight issue due to the fact that it is a flying and steel typing Pokemon, so the rocks are going to do a little bit of damage, but I think just due to the fact that how bulky Corviknight is already, and the fact that it can bulk itself up even more, I think that it will be able to outlive some of that damage it's going to see from the Chesnaught. So Corviknight, Shell Bell, Mirror Armor, so that way if you end up getting anything dropped from yourself, goes right back onto that Chesnaught. We've got Iron Defense, Reflect for some possible moves, but I think that Bulk Up, Roost, Iron Head, and Screech are definitely going to be the favored moves in this raid, just due to the fact that we've got a super effective Iron Head hit, Screech dropping our defense, Roost is going to give us that HP recovery, and Bulk Up gives us an attack and defense boost. So just overall, really awesome Pokemon with all the moves that you need in a raid build. So let's hop into the next one, which is going to be actually one of my newer favorites. I really like this Pokemon, but let's hop into an Iron... Oh my goodness. Let's hop into an Iron Leaves build. And now we've got Iron Leaves, our Paradox Pokemon. Iron Leaves is a fantastic newer Pokemon that got dropped through the raids, but I think this one is definitely going to have a nice little moment in this raid, just due to the fact that it has some pretty awesome moves in Leaf Blade, Grassy Terrain, Iron Defense, and Swords Dance. Now, it's not going to be able to drop the actual defense of the raid boss down, but it's going to be able to boost itself up so much, where I think this Pokemon could definitely be useful. Give it a Shell Ball to get a little bit of HP recovery, or what we can do is we can go with the Energy Booster, so that way we can proc our Cork Drive ability, gaining a little bit more damage in this raid. Now, Leaf Blade has a high crit chance. It's going to be a really awesome move to use to get you boosted for your Tera. It's also going to get Swords Dance, so +2 attack, Iron Defense, +2 defense. And then Grassy Terrain is just going to give you even more damage when you do actually hit with your Leaf Blade. So all in all, a really well-rounded Pokemon that I think can do a fantastic job in this raid. Let's hop into the next one, which I believe will be Iron Valiant, another Paradox Pokemon. Yo, and here we have with an Iron Valiant build. Now, I know Iron Valiant is definitely not one of those Pokemon a lot of people build with, especially with just with anything. It hasn't been really a very popular Pokemon, but I think with its typing, I think they could definitely be useful in this raid. So Iron Valiant, also another one of those Pokemon with Cork Drive, so you can either run a Shell Bell or you can run the Energy Booster to pop that up. With this Pokemon, with close combat, it is a fighting and fairy type Pokemon, so we do definitely get some stab damage out of close combat. And we also get access to Drain Punch, which again, we've all known for all these raids is a fantastic move when you can use it, just due to the fact that you get your HP back. We get access to our Flex, so we can drop the damage of the Chesnaught, and we get Swords Dance, so we're able to boost our own attack up. So I think that with the well-rounded build, I think that Iron Valiant could definitely be a solid attacking Pokemon in a raid if you're in a pinch. I mean, obviously, I think there are probably better Pokemon to bring, but this is definitely one that, you know, if you don't have the other ones, it's another option. So I think this will definitely be another really awesome one, but let's hop into the next raid build, which is going to be Amoonguss. All right, so Amoonguss is going to be one of those supported Pokemon that we're going to take a little bit longer on to kind of talk about, because there are some things that it can do that can definitely really help the raid in ways that some people might not actually just kind of like realize. So we're going to go over it. One of those things with the Amoonguss, it is a bulkier Pokemon. It is a grass type Pokemon, so we're able to get some stab damage into this rock type Chesnaught. So with that, Giga Drain is a really awesome move. It's going to get you your HP back, and if you pair it with a long root, you're going to be able to get even more HP recovery back. So all in all, I think that your recovery on your Amoonguss is going to be really solid at that point. You do also get access to Pollen Puff, meaning that you can heal your teammates on your team. Another really awesome ability, being able to actually make sure that your team is not dying. Then we get into the move Worry Seed. Now, I know I said at the beginning of the raid that, or the video, that the bulletproof is going to stop those bullet type attacks. So something like Energy Ball is actually going to get stopped by bulletproof. But if you use Worry Seed, you're going to change Chesnaught's ability to Insomnia, meaning that it does not have the bulletproof ability anymore, meaning that your raid group can now use bullet typing moves, which can open up some other options to you. So Amoonguss is definitely one of those Pokemon that if you bring it in a raid group, it can be utilized in a way to really help other teammates so they can really use their full potential in their moves. So really cool. I think Worry Seed will be definitely a really awesome move. I'll bring it as we're doing the raids tonight. Another thing that we want to talk about is Clear Smog. Now, as we talked earlier with the Chesnaught, it does have access to Swords Dance and Iron Defense. Now, both those, if it gets too high, are going to be really hard, and it's probably going to end up clearing your raid. So having access to something like Clear Smog, where you can bring that Chesnaught back to a reasonable level, is going to be super helpful. Other moves that you can utilize are Energy Ball and Grassy Terrain. Again, they're just going to help you out in this raid. As far as Energy Ball is going to give you a little bit more damage to Giga Drain, so you're not going to be able to get as much HP recovery. And I would probably suggest using a different item like a Sitrus Berry or something like that if you go that route. And Grassy Terrain, always just really nice because it's going to boost the grass type damage on your team. So Amoonguss, I think, is going to be a really awesome support Pokemon. Definitely a top tier one. So let's hop into the next raid build, and that is going to be Azumaril. And coming in with our second to last place build is Azumaril. Azumaril is one of those Pokemon that we've kind of been using in raid builds for a while. And the big reason is because this Pokemon gets access to Belly Drum. Belly Drum is a move that cuts your HP in half, but it knocks your attack up to a maximum and gives you just a really awesome high damage Pokemon right off the bat. Now, with this Pokemon, a lot of people would generally run huge power, but specifically for this raid, I think that Azumaril's other ability, Sap Sipper, will be a little bit more beneficial. Reason being is Chesnaught is a grass type Pokemon. We'll probably get some grass type moves out, especially into a water type Pokemon, Azumaril. And if we're able to soak in those moves with Sap Sipper, we will actually gain, one, an immunity to the grass, so we're not going to take any damage, and two, our attack is going to go up by 1 each time we are hit. So overall, I think this Pokemon is a really, really well-rounded Pokemon because it's not going to take any super effective damage, and it's going to be able to dump out a ton of damage into this Pokemon, especially if you get a Belly Drum off. Now, Liquidation is a really awesome move because you do get a chance to drop its defense down. Another great way to drop or get even a little bit more damage into this raid boss. You also get access to Tickle, which drops its defense and its attack stat down, which would be really helpful to this Chesnaught because it is very, very much believe that is going to be an attack and defensive heavy Pokemon. So I think that Azumaril will be another awesome overall just an attacking Pokemon, and can definitely this one is gonna be another photo that I'm really excited to use. I think the whole Tickle, Rain Dance, Liquidation, Belly Drum is gonna be a fun set to run in this raid, and yeah, I'm definitely excited about this one. But without further ado, let's get into our final raid build for this raid guide, and let's do Goldango. All All right, now if you've been doing raids for a little while in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video game, you know that Gholdengo has been a big staple in the raids just due to the fact that it does an insane amount of damage, especially when it gets boosted or you match it with something like a Berserker. So Gholdengo is another one of those ones in this raid that I think is going to do really well, and there's a couple of reasons. One, you are a ghost type Pokemon, which means you're not going to take any damage from its fighting type moves. So anytime you get an immunity in a raid, it is that is big because you're not taking any damage. It's huge. So ghost typing, fantastic. The fact that you're also a steel type, which means you're going to be able to do super effective damage into this Chesnaught, is going to be awesome because Gholdengo has a massive special attack stat and it's got some really cool moves that can definitely pump out a ton of damage to this raid boss. You match it with something like Wise Glasses to up his special attack even more, and moves like Flash Cannon and Steel Beam are going to be just insane. Nasty Plot gives you that +2 to your special attack, and Metal Sound will drop the special defense of the raid boss down by 2. So another fantastic Pokemon, and if you don't really want to run the Wise Glass, you can definitely run Shell Bell to get that HP recovery. Totally fine. But yeah, this would be all the raid builds that I have prepped for the Chesnaught raid. Yo, thank you all so much for coming out to my raid guide video. I hope you absolutely have a fantastic time this weekend getting your Chesnaught, and I hope it's super easy for you. Now, if you want to come and raid with me, want to get a little bit of help, I will be live on Twitch both tonight and tomorrow during the raid. So hop on over to twitch.tv/WMichael, drop me a follow so you can get notified when I go live. I'll be live all night helping people with this raid so you can get it done and won't have to wait 2 weeks if you fail it. So again, thank you all so much. If these raid guides are helpful to you and if you end up using them for this raid, please let me down in the comments which one that you took with you, as I would absolutely love to know. And again, also, if you have any suggestions, please absolutely let me know. I would love to hear them down below. I post all of my stuff in my Discord as well. So if you want to discuss these raid builds before they go live on my YouTube channel, hop into my Discord and come and hang out with me. I would love to hear your discussion or your thoughts on these raid builds, so we can make just the best raid builds for the Pokemon community. So again, thank you all so much. I hope you have a fantastic day out in Paldea, trainers. Peace.